He tied a knot for every whispered prayer, only to wake and find them all undone. Until one night, something inhuman came to unmake them, and something even older came to teach him how to bind what darkness could not touch. He tied the knots with slow and trembling hands, one for each whisper spoken into the hush. Beneath the pale glow of a tallow lamp, the words flowed like mist from a stone cup, old, imperfect, but steady. Let it be made right. Let it be made right. Let it be made right. Each phrase, a knot. Each knot, a tether to something unseen. By the time the final coal in the brazier died, the cord bore over 200 loops, each one firm, silent, deliberate. Then he slept, and each morning the cord was bare again. At first, he doubted his own memory. His hands had grown slow, his thoughts sluggish with age. Perhaps he had dreamed the tying. Perhaps the knots had slipped loose in the dark. Or perhaps it was the sea wind, the way it moved through the cracks in the stone walls like a thief. But on the fourth morning, he found the cord half knotted. The final loop, the one he always tied with a double twist, hung loose as though something unseen had interrupted its unmaking. The keep sat high on a jagged bluff, far from any road. The walls were cut from black stone and weathered by centuries of salt. Once it had housed a great brotherhood, scribes, quiet menders, watchers of the stars. Now it held only a few. They still called him Keeper Elian, though his duties had long since dwindled. He no longer climbed the watchtower. He no longer tended the observatory. His hours were filled only with silence and the long breath of ritual. The others noticed his dimmed eyes, his deepening lines. They called it age. Some mocked him gently for his cord. "Perhaps the wind is making mischief," said one, half laughing. Elian said nothing. That night, he dipped the entire cord in ash and salt, wound it tight with a bone pin, and hid it beneath a heavy lid of basalt. In the morning, the cord was smooth. On the seventh night, he lay in stillness and watched. He did not close his eyes. Hours passed in shadow. Then something came. It did not enter. It was already there. It moved in the corner of the room, a blur against the stone, like the shimmer of heat over snow. Where it passed, the air turned cold. It crouched over the cord with long, fingerless limbs and unthreaded each knot with sickening precision. Elian tried to speak, but his voice was held. When the last loop came undone, the thing tilted its shape toward him. Its face had no features, only suggestion. He did not sleep for 3 nights after. He gave up the knots. He still whispered the old phrases, but without rhythm, without rope, without belief. They echoed in his throat and vanished, unacknowledged. One morning, as the wind whistled low over the cliffs, a young novice named Koran approached him in the vestibule. "I forget the order," the boy said. "I speak it in my mind, but the words slip away." Elian studied the boy, his small hands, his bare ankles chapped from the wind. "You'll remember them when you must," he said, "but remembering isn't the same as binding." The boy looked puzzled. Elian added, "Come tomorrow, at dusk." That night, he slept, but not alone. In his dream, a figure appeared, neither beast nor man, neither flame nor wind. It hovered just above the floor, cloaked in folds that shimmered like wet iron. "You do not chant in vain," it said, "but you bind too simply." Its hands were impossible, folding, shifting, never still. It took the cord and wove a pattern of 7 folds. Each loop passed through another, crossed, turned, folded again. Not a knot, but a lattice, a shape that swallowed itself. "This one cannot be undone by shadow," the being said, "because it does not resist. It remembers." Elian awoke before the first light. He began to tie. It took him until sunrise to finish one. His fingers trembled, his breath broke often. But by the time the crows began to call along the wind lines, the knot was there, complex, silent, and mysterious. He tied a second, then a third. By the end of the day, there were only 3, but they held. He did not hide them. He placed the cord upon the central stone in the vault, beneath the carved sigil of the old world. When Corin found it later, he stared for a long time. "I tried to untie one," he admitted sheepishly, "and it turned itself inside out. I gave up." "What do you think it's for?" Elian asked. The boy hesitated. "To keep something in?" "No," said Elian, "to keep something out." The cord was never touched again. In the years that followed, Elian grew quiet. His limbs stiffened, his breath shortened, but each night he tied 1 knot, sometimes 2. He no longer feared the visitor, and it never returned. Long after he was gone, the remaining few sealed the cord in a glass reliquary and placed it in the northern chamber. Visitors rarely came to the keep now. Fewer still asked questions, but sometimes, during the long winters, when the wind howled and the fires dimmed, a novice might stand before the glass and trace the knots with wondering eyes. They did not try to mimic them. Instead, they sat, they breathed, they listened. And when they finally rose to speak again, their voices seemed quieter, woven like something that would not come undone.